Okay, so have you ever, heard about those cases where, like, right away, something just feels off?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, it just doesn't add up. And the case we're diving into today, the disappearance of 27-year-old Emily Jackson, is definitely one of those. Everything about her life seemed totally normal, totally ordinary. Promising career, good friends, pretty routine life.
Right, the kind of life a lot of us have, or could even picture ourselves having.
Exactly. And then, one perfectly ordinary evening, whew, she's just gone,
Yeah.
vanished without a trace.
And it's that ordinariness, that's what makes these cases so unsettling, so gripping for people.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we see ourselves in those details.
It's like that could be me.
Yeah, the career, the friends, the routine. It creates this sense of, well, a relatable pattern. And when that pattern's abruptly broken, it's deeply jarring.
It really is. So let's take a closer look at Emily's last known evening. It all started just like any other regular weekday. She got off work around 6:00 p.m., sent a few casual texts to friends, even talked about some weekend plans, all very normal, everyday stuff.
Right, nothing out of the ordinary there. Just, living life.
Exactly. Then, around 7:30, she met up with her friend, Rachel, at a cafe. Just a casual catch-up. They were chatting about work, maybe some travel ideas. And Rachel said that Emily seemed totally fine and good spirits even.
And we know that's not just Rachel saying that, right? Because the security footage from the cafe actually backs her up. You can literally see them sitting there, talking, laughing, just a normal night out.
Totally. And I think that makes what happens next even more baffling.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's like, where's the twist? Where's the...
Where did things go so wrong?
Exactly.
So they finished up at the cafe around 8:12 p.m. Emily paid her bill. They hugged goodbye. And Emily started that short walk back to her apartment, a route she took all the time. It was well lit, not a sketchy area or anything.
Right, the kind of walk most of us do without even thinking about it.
Exactly. And get this, the last confirmed sighting of her was just 5 minutes later at 8:17 p.m. near a convenience store. There's some grainy surveillance footage that caught her walking by. She seems totally calm, purse in hand, phone in hand. And then
nothing. Like she just stepped into another dimension.
poof, gone.
It's that tiny window of time, right, that really gets you.
Oh, yeah.
We've got that last confirmed sighting at 8:17 p.m., and then her final text message, which was sent at 8:34 p.m. And those 2 points basically create this huge question mark.
A giant black hole of missing time.
Exactly. What happened during those 17 minutes?
And it's not like that last text message was anything weird or alarming or anything. It was just a quick reply to a coworker about meeting for lunch the next day. Totally normal stuff.
So no indication that anything was wrong.
No red flags, no sign of trouble, and then silence. Her phone just goes completely dead. Rachel tried calling her later that night, went straight to voicemail.
And that sudden communication cutoff, that's often a huge red flag in these cases.
Oh, absolutely. Especially when it comes out of nowhere like that, No warning, no explanation. It just screams something's wrong.
Right, something happened, something significant.
And then the next morning, Emily doesn't show up for work, which for her was completely out of character.
Right, because she was known for being reliable, always on time.
Exactly. And that's when the real panic starts to set in. By midday, her coworkers are reaching out to Rachel. Rachel's calling Emily's parents, and nobody has heard from her. So by 6:00 p.m. that evening, they file an official missing person report.
And it's that swift escalation, that really underlines how much Emily was valued, how tight her circle was.
Totally.
Like her absence was immediately felt. It wasn't just a blip on the radar. It was a full-blown alarm bell.
Yeah, it was clear that something was seriously wrong. And so the police, they launched a full-scale investigation. They retrace Emily's steps. They pull every bit of security footage they can find. They go door to door talking to neighbors. They interview anyone who might have seen something. But here's the thing that's so strange, so frustrating. There's no trail.
Like she just evaporated.
It's like she vanished into thin air.
And that lack of any leads, any trace, that's what pushes this from a typical missing person case into something way more
Sinister.
Yeah. Sinister, mysterious, unexplainable.
Okay, so her apartment's locked. Her car's right where she left it. No activity on her bank accounts. It doesn't look like she planned on going anywhere.
Right, which throws all the initial theories out the window, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally. Like, did she just decide to disappear? Her friends and family were adamant that she would never do that.
No history of mental health issues, no hints of being unhappy, no reason to just up and leave everything behind.
Exactly. Then, of course, there's the possibility of abduction, a terrifying thought. But there's no evidence of a struggle, no witnesses, nothing to indicate a kidnapping. And then the accident theory, well, they searched everywhere. The neighborhood, parks, even the local waterways, nothing.
And that's what's so perplexing, right? The lack of evidence to support any of the usual theories.
It's just a giant question mark.
Yeah, and it leaves everyone, the investigators, the community, you, the listener, just grasping at straws.
Totally. And the community really rallied around, trying to find her. Flyers everywhere, volunteers out searching day and night, search and rescue teams with dogs, drones, helicopters.
Yeah.
But all that effort, all those resources, nothing.
And that's when the waiting game begins. It's a painful stage in these investigations, the waiting, the not knowing.
It's agonizing for everyone involved.
It really is.
Then, weeks later, a glimmer of hope, an anonymous tip comes in. The caller says they saw Emily getting into a dark-colored vehicle near that convenience store where she was last seen on camera.
Okay, so that tip, that injects a new layer of complexity, right? It shifts the focus from what Emily might have done to who she might have been with.
It opens up a whole new line of questioning. Who was driving that car? Why would Emily get in with them?
Right, especially considering nothing in her past seemed to point to any risky behavior or, shady connections.
So the investigators, they dive into this new lead. They comb through traffic camera footage, look at any other surveillance in the area, but unfortunately, nothing clear comes up. They can't get a good look at the car's license plate, and the driver's face is obscured.
So then what? Dead end.
Not quite. They have to shift gears again. And this time, the focus turns toward the people in Emily's life. It's a difficult reality in these kinds of cases. Statistically speaking, the person responsible is often someone the victim knows.
Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow, but it's something investigators always have to consider.
So who are the people in Emily's life that they focused on? Well, one of them was her ex-boyfriend, Daniel Carter. They had dated for about 3 years, broke up about 6 months before Emily disappeared. Everyone said the breakup was amicable, no drama or anything.
Seems pretty cut and dry. So why is he a suspect?
Well, Emily had mentioned to a coworker that he'd been trying to get back together with her.
Ah, okay. So maybe some lingering feelings there, some unresolved issues.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when the police questioned Daniel, he said he hadn't actually spoken to Emily in weeks. He claimed that on the night she disappeared, he was at home watching a movie with a friend, and his alibi checked out.
Solid alibi, no obvious motive. Seems pretty clear, right?
You'd think so. But according to the case files, some of the investigators still had this nagging feeling about him, like they couldn't quite shake the suspicion.
Ah, yeah, those gut feelings. Hard to ignore, even with solid evidence to the contrary.
Totally. But without any concrete evidence linking him to Emily's disappearance, they had to move on. The next person on their list was James Holloway, a coworker who had exchanged those last few texts with Emily. And what seemed strange to investigators was that he never followed up when she stopped responding.
Yeah, you'd think if you were making lunch plans with someone and they went silent, you'd check in,
Right. At least send a quick, hey, are you okay?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a little suspicious.
Totally. And when they questioned James, he seemed cooperative, but also really nervous. And while he said he was home all night, there was a 2-hour gap in his phone activity.
2 hours unaccounted for. Plenty of time to be somewhere else.
Right. But again, no solid evidence directly linking him to Emily's disappearance, so they had to keep digging.
It's like they're piecing together this massive puzzle, but they're missing so many pieces.
It's incredibly frustrating, I'm sure. And then things take a really weird turn. About a month after Emily vanishes, another anonymous tip comes in. This time it's a woman who claims she saw Emily arguing with a man outside a gas station a couple of miles away from where she was last seen.
Okay, so now we're talking about a completely different location. That really throws a wrench into the timeline.
Yeah, it does. And the description of the man is super vague, medium height, dark clothing, not very helpful. Plus, the caller refuses to give her name or speak to the police directly.
Another dead end, essentially.
It's so frustrating. It's like every time they get a little bit closer, the trail just goes cold again.
Like someone's intentionally throwing them off course.
Exactly. So months go by, and the case seems to be getting nowhere. But then, just when all hope seems lost, there's a major break. Some hikers are out in the woods, and they stumble upon Emily's purse. It's in a wooded area miles outside of town, far from where she was last seen.
Okay, so the location of the purse, that's huge.
Oh, yeah, it's a big red flag.
It means someone put it there, right? Deliberately.
It seems that way. And the contents of the purse are strange, too. Her ID's in there, her credit cards, some personal items, but her phone is missing.
Almost like someone wanted the purse to be found, but not the phone.
That's what it seems like. But there's one more detail, and it's a really weird one. Tucked away in a hidden pocket of her wallet is a single key, and it doesn't fit any of the locks at her apartment, her car, or her work.
Okay, that's interesting. And creepy. What does that key unlock? What's its significance?
It's a total mystery. And near where they found the purse, there was also some torn fabric that could have been from a jacket and a broken bracelet that Emily always wore. But no Emily.
So more evidence of a struggle, maybe, but still no Emily.
Right. And the forensic analysis of the purse is really unsettling. No fingerprints on it except for Emily's, like it was wiped clean. No footprints, no DNA other than hers. It really does seem like someone wanted the purse found, but they were very careful about not leaving any trace of themselves.
It's like they're playing a game almost. A very twisted, dangerous game.
Yeah, it's starting to feel that way. And then, just as the investigators are focusing on that mysterious key, trying to figure out what it unlocks, another piece of the puzzle falls into place, or maybe just makes the puzzle even more confusing. I don't know. A letter arrives at the police station. No return address. No postmark. Inside, there's a single piece of paper with a message written in shaky black ink. You're looking in the wrong place. She's waiting where the lights flicker.
Where the lights flicker. That's specific.
Yeah, and creepy. The letter's been wiped clean, just like the purse. No fingerprints, no DNA. And they determined that it was written with just an ordinary pen.
So no way to trace it back to anyone.
Exactly. And the big question becomes, what does that message even mean? Is it a metaphor, a real location, some kind of inside joke?
And who sent it? Is it the person who took Emily? Someone trying to help? Someone just messing with the police?
So many questions. And then one of Emily's friends remembers something that sends chills down your spine. There's this old abandoned motel on the outskirts of town, and its neon vacancy sign, it's known for flickering. Apparently, Emily and her friends used to dare each other to go there when they were kids.
Yeah. Where the lights flicker. The abandoned motel with a flickering sign. It's got to be connected, right?
That's way too much of a coincidence. So the police, they immediately send a team out to the motel. It's run down, creepy, just like Emily's friends described. They search the place, and in one of the rooms at the very back, they find something. Faint scratch marks on the floor, a broken lock on a supply closet door, and inside the closet, tacked to the wall, is another message. 2 words. Too late.
Oh, wow. That's unsettling. It's like whoever took Emily is taunting the police.
It's terrifying and confusing. Like, was Emily held there? Did she escape? What does too late even mean?
It's like every clue just leads to more questions.
It's a nightmare. So they're trying to process all this new information, and they decide to revisit all the old clues. And that's when they notice something strange about Emily's bank account.
Sometimes you have to go back and look at things with fresh eyes, right? See if anything new jumps out.
Exactly. And in this case, it did. Weeks after Emily disappeared, there were a bunch of small withdrawals from her account, never more than $20 at random ATMs in different towns. It was like whoever was using her card was trying to fly under the radar.
Avoid any big transactions that might trigger suspicion. Smart, but also really creepy.
Totally. So they managed to get surveillance footage from some of those ATMs. Most of it's useless, too grainy. But there's one where you can kind of see the person making the withdrawal. It's hard to tell for sure, but it looks like they're wearing a bracelet identical to one that Emily always wore.
Okay, so either Emily's alive and being forced to withdraw money, or someone's trying to make it look like she is.
That's the question, right? It's chilling either way. And then they start mapping out the locations of all those APM withdrawals, and a pattern emerges. They're all leading toward this remote, wooded area outside of the county. And then the withdrawals stop.
So, did whoever was making the withdrawals realize they were being tracked? Did something happen to Emily? It's just another layer of mystery.
The mystery just keeps getting deeper. But now they have a new lead, that remote area where the ATM withdrawals stopped. So they launch another massive search. And they find it. A small, rundown cabin, hidden deep in the woods. The windows are boarded up, the doors open a crack.
Okay, this is starting to feel like a horror movie.
I know, right? So they go inside, and the main room is dusty, like it hasn't been used in a while. But then they go into the back room, and there's a mattress on the floor, some rope, empty food containers, and scrawled on the wall, the words, "Help me."
Oh my God, so she was definitely held captive there.
It seems that way. But still no sign of Emily. Had she escaped? Been taken somewhere else?
At this point, the investigators have to be feeling the pressure, right?
Absolutely. They're so close, but they're running out of time.
And then, out of the blue, a witness comes forward. A local woman, Rachel Mitchell, not the same Rachel as Emily's friend. She'd been following the case in the news, and she remembers seeing a man matching the description of a possible abductor near that cabin a few weeks earlier.
Okay, so another Rachel enters the picture.
Right. And this Rachel, she says the man was acting suspicious, driving a red pickup truck with a dent in the side.
That detail, the red truck, that's what breaks the case wide open.
See, that's how these things work. One tiny, seemingly insignificant detail can change everything.
You're telling me. So they start checking local parking lots, past reports, and guess what? They find records of a red truck matching that exact description being spotted near some of the places where Emily's stuff was found. They run the plates, and it comes back to a guy named Ethan Reynolds, local handyman, minor criminal history.
Okay, so now we have a name, a face. Things are getting real.
Oh, yeah. And when they check his alibi for the night Emily disappeared, it falls apart. Plus, they find out he's been hanging around those woods, acting shady near abandoned properties, especially that cabin.
So all the pieces of the puzzle are starting to fit together.
They bring Ethan in for questioning, and after hours of interrogation, he cracks. He confesses to everything.
Finally, some answers.
It's a twisted story. Ethan had this insane obsession with Emily. He thought they were meant to be together, and when she rejected him, he just snapped. He admitted to waiting for her near her bus stop, following her into an alley and forcing her into his truck. He took her to that cabin and kept her locked up there, barely feeding her, thinking she'd somehow fall in love with him.
Oh my God. That's just sick.
It's horrifying. And he confessed to writing those messages, the ones the police found. He was trying to throw them off to play with them.
It's a control thing, right? A power trip.
That's what it seems like. And you want to know the most incredible part? Emily actually escaped from that cabin. She got away one night while Ethan was asleep, left behind that key, and somehow managed to make it back to civilization.
Oh my God. That woman is a warrior.
She's incredibly strong. Thankfully, she's alive, though deeply traumatized, of course. Ethan's been arrested and charged. It's a truly disturbing case, but it's also a reminder of the importance of vigilance, of paying attention to those little details, those gut feelings that might seem insignificant at first.
Right, like that witness who remembered the red truck. It seems like such a small thing, but it made all the difference.
It really did. And it's also a reminder that if you or someone you know is ever in danger, don't hesitate to speak up, to reach out for help. You never know. Your voice could be the one that saves someone's life.
You really never know. And this case, even though it's been solved, it still leaves us with so much to think about. Like, what drives someone to that level of obsession? What societal factors contribute to these kinds of situations? These are questions we all need to grapple with.
Yeah. And it's a reminder that we all need to be aware, to be vigilant, and to trust our instincts.
Absolutely, because sometimes the smallest detail can make the biggest difference.
You've been listening to The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us.
And remember, stay safe out there.